Since a very young age, I've had a very strong interest in the built environment and my surroundings. I would often ask my parents why certain areas were really run down and not cared for, and other ones were very beautiful and clearly well kept. And I've continued to have those questions throughout my adolescence and into adulthood, and realized that some of them just couldn't be answered without a thorough investigation and study. And in shifting career thoughts and processes and plans, I looked at planning as a way to kind of unearth those the answers to those questions, I guess, but also to be very much involved in the answer as well. My name is Micah Wilson. I'm originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and prior to coming to the GSD, I worked as a paralegal in several different settings with the thought that I would eventually become an attorney and go ahead and change the world. But in that process, I had some experiences that really changed what I would like to do as a career.
My name is Salman Khan. I am from Port Washington, New York. I did my undergrad at Fordham University in New York in history. And prior to attending the GSD, I worked for Friends of the High Line, which is a nonprofit organization based in New York that's responsible for the High Line Park, which is a public space built on an elevated rail structure in Manhattan.
I'm Natalia Gerlin. I'm from Berkeley, California, and I studied landscape architecture at the University of California, Davis prior to coming here. I worked for 10 years as a landscape architect and focused on sustainable designs and community public spaces.
My name is Oscar Quintanilla. I'm from Nicaragua, and before coming to the GSD, I worked for the United Nations Population Fund in their population and development area.
I'm Philip Baker. My hometown is from San Antonio, Texas. And before I came to the GSD, I was a civil engineer for the military for 9 years.
Hi, I'm Qingnan Liu. I'm from China, Inner Mongolia actually. So before I came to GSD, I had a background in civil engineering at Tsinghua University in Beijing. And then I worked 2 years in an urban planning and design institute, mostly for transportation planning.
My name is Kathy, and I am originally from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia. And before the GSD, I had just come from my undergrad degree in economics and geography. And during my undergrad, I also did some internships in city governments and while I was studying abroad in France.
My name is Victor Negrete, and I'm from North Hollywood, California. Prior to coming to the GSD, I studied at UC Santa Barbara. My major was political science. And as far as work experience before I came to the GSD, I worked for a few years in private sector management.
I've always been interested in urban studies. And after working for 2 years in planning field, I feel like planning is the key determinant for public policy and urban strategies.
I decided to pursue planning as a career because as a civil engineer, I saw the huge impacts that the built environment has on the life of the people that are there, and the larger overarching strategies besides just putting in that physical infrastructure were very key to the life of that city. And I wanted to pursue a career that allows me to blend both those larger strategies for the people of a city.
I studied economics as an undergrad, and I was interested in how different pieces of public policy and people and demographics come together, and in particular in cities. So I'm intrigued about how cities work and how all these pieces come together.
I decided to change from landscape architecture to planning in my career because I wanted to move from a broader scale and changing the urban environment. I feel like I make a bigger impact in improving people's lives and more effectively incorporate sustainable practices as a planner.
I'm very interested in this, the connection between the cities we grow up in and what they mean for our long-term prospects, and in terms of creating healthy, happy people who can achieve their fullest potential.
I wanted to work in urban planning to basically be able to do something bigger for the environments that I lived in and that I grew up in and I came from. And I felt like urban planning was the perfect way to get experience and education that allowed me to do something to better the places I came from.